As a warehouse manager, everything comes back to you. If the warehouse is firing all cylinders and is performing really well, or if there's nothing but fires and you're putting them out every day, that comes back to you. Visibility is going to help you not only run a smoother facility, but also give you that raise you're looking for. Here are 5 ways to increase that visibility, get that advantage that you're looking for. Step number 1, start tracking truck turnaround time. This one is one of the easiest wins that we see not enough companies are doing. Tracking how long it takes a truck to get in and out of your facility, and that could be inbound or outbound, and compare that to how it was looking last week or last month or last year. Also, looking at that, and if you have different shifts going on, seeing how each shift compares to each other and where your weaknesses and where those gaps are and how you can actually improve those will help your bottom line. No one does this, and this is from small companies up to your biggest companies and competitors. They're not tracking this, and it's such an easy win. Going in and talking to your boss of how the facility is performing, and here's one number you can easily show. It's really easy for them to see. It took us an hour and a half for our turnaround times last month. Compared to this month, it's an hour and 15 minutes. You can break that down and talk about how many extra loads you're getting in and out, or how much more efficiency you have on the docks of cleaning things, maintaining things, and just overall flow throughout the facility. It's such an easy win from just the start to finish because it's the last thing you touch or the first thing you touch coming into your facility, and that just helps your upper see what's going on and gives you that raise that you're looking for. Change number 2, switch to an appointment-based system. Day to day, you're dealing with tons of fires. What happens if you could just cut away half those fires and have your operations run a lot smoother? Going to an appointment-based system is going to help you get to that goal, and it's going to be way easier on your team. You won't have those lineup of trucks ever. You're going to drive in every morning, and it's not going to be congested. It's not going to be chaotic. It's going to make your life a lot easier and make your team on the docks way simpler. Your team's also going to know what's coming in and what's going out each day. So getting those loads prepped, or if you need to QC things or have an overall visibility of what's going on, your team's going to see that and be able to be prepared for what's going to happen for that day or this week. And let's be honest, a lot of the times with all those fires that are going on, it's when people are rushing, going from point A to point B as fast as they can. And if you had all your trucks organized and spread out throughout the day, those headaches, and that could be half of your headaches and fires per day, could be eliminated just with something as small as a system base that's going to help with performance. One of the things you might be thinking about right now is, how do I get my customers and carriers to actually use the system? Because they'll never do it. And we hear that quite often on our side. And it's one of those things that when you actually start looking at what they'll get back, it's such a big boost for them. So if you were to talk to a driver and you say, either you get an appointment booked and you hit your times, or you have to wait and sit there for 2.5 hours, what would they pick? They pick the one that's going to get them in and out as fast as possible. And it comes back to that step 1, that turnaround time that you're now calculating is going to be lower and lower each month. So when you send those meetings for the performance review for yourself, you can easily show, I've lowered this by 35% over the past year, and flow of traffic is way higher. We're getting way more appointments through the door, and congestion altogether is lowered. Change 3, master your tools. At your facility, you probably have a bunch of different software, your WMS, your ERP systems, accounting, that give you insights of what's happening. A lot of those reports probably have been set up by people in the past, and you're running those and just getting the information needed. First step to this is fully understanding what all those reports are looking at, and if the numbers are accurate. You could put a lot of numbers down in a report and look at a lot of different ways, and it can give you a lot of different information. The other thing is looking at what you need from your facility and your operations. That might be certain information from certain parts that you aren't currently looking at. So how do you get the information is the first part. Make sure that that information is correct and applies to what you're looking for. That might be a little more time looking and talking with accounting, IT, and just getting those reports set up and making sure you're double checking those numbers and they're accurate. But that's one of the biggest faults that we see, especially a new warehouse manager, not looking at those reports and designing the reports that they need and relying on reports that people have been making in the past or running in the past and using that as the golden standard. So you might be asking, what numbers should I be looking at? And the first thing you should be doing is looking at where your fires are at in your facility. So if you're having issues with maintenance or quality control issues, look at what type of information you have on that and start diving into it a little bit deeply. So for quality control issues, take a look at what loads are coming in with the highest quality control issues, and then also start comparing that against what team is working on the floor at that given time. Is it a thing that your team is missing the quality control checks themselves? Or is it that that customer, when they ship in Monday mornings, there's always issues from this certain carrier? Looking at those trends is really going to help you. And that's where AI really helps. Putting in all that information, start asking it some questions. You're going to start seeing some trends there, and it'll give you the feedback you need, and start looking at trend analysis from that side. Change 4, improve the things that your leadership cares about. So let's go back and let's think about taking a test when you're in school. You sit down, you have no idea what the subject is, what the test is on, and you know for sure you're not going to pass that test. So instead, when you sit down and you have to write that test, if you knew what it was supposed to be about or what you're supposed to be writing it on, you have a way better chance of passing and getting a higher grade. The same thing goes for what you're trying to do at your facility. Your leadership team has goals that they set out each year or expectations that they have, and they tell you that. If you listen to those 3 things that they keep saying over and over again, those are the things that you need to start tracking. Those are your key metrics that you need to implement and improve on, and also look at weekly, daily, hourly, whatever that looks like, so that you're improving it. Because what's going to happen is when you sit down and they say, well, we wanted to lower our head count and get that into a better price for us, you can go back and be like, yeah, we did that, and here's the overall efficiencies. We're at the same level or better than last year at this time. And that rolls into change 5. Be the person who reports on good performance. So now that you have these numbers and how your team's performing, now is the time to make sure that leadership knows what's going on. And this comes back to being able to sell yourself and sell the facility as a whole. Being able to sit down and look at all the reporting that you have now, all those key metrics that you're going to be reporting on, and really show them how we're improving the facility as a whole. You're going to have a lot of fires. Things are going to be going on, and it's so easy to always be looking at the negative, and that's not just for you, but that's also your leadership. If they can sit down and look at the key metrics that they're looking on and making sure that you're improving those numbers week over week, month over month, a lot of those big fires and big issues go away and you forget about that. But if you're really focusing in on all these fires, when you start going into this conversation and what's going on and all the negative things, it's so hard for your leadership team to see what's going on that's good. And at the end of it, that's where your raise is going to happen. If you can show all the positive things that are going on and how you're getting them to where they want to be for those targets, that's where you're tied to the performance of the facility. And at the end of the day, you're going to get that raise that you're looking for. If your leadership team hasn't told you what those key metrics are and what they really care about, the thing that you should be looking at is what they are saying and what they're complaining about the most. If they're always saying our headcount's costing too much or that our maintenance is costing too much, those are things that they care about. So start getting that baseline going of what the costs are per month, and then start tracking them and start seeing how you can start driving down that cost. So when they come back to you and you're having these reviews, you can say, oh yeah, by the way, this month and this year, we've lowered maintenance costs by 15%. That's something that's going to hit home with them consciously or subconsciously and get you that raise. So to help yourself out, figure out what the problems that they're having, solve those problems, and then show how those problems are getting better month over month. And that's going to put you in a better spot than you were today. If you're struggling to find key metrics to improve your warehouse, check out our next video on improving your dwell time by up to 30%.